we're starting.
This is Chris Morrow, Comic-Con at Home, and I'm remotely connected at the Tin Fish in San Diego. And the panel is Debate Who's the Best Doctor Who. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Please introduce yourself and tell me where your home is.
Well, it's my privilege to be the moderator of Who's the Best Doctor Who. I'm Sandro Monetti. Don't be fooled by the English accent. I'm here in Los Angeles, California. And with me on screen are the panelists who have just, in a very opinionated fashion, debated the question, who's the best Doctor Who? And with us are...
I'm Kristi Schoeman, and I'm in Temecula, California. It's the Southern California wine country, if you don't know where it is.
I'm Julie O'Malley, and I'm in Valley Village, which is in the Valley of Los Angeles.
Karen has lost the power of speech, which is unusual for anyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
You never have.
The first time
Never.
I've ever heard Karen silent.
I was thinking of how I was going to introduce myself. I apologize. Hi, I'm Karen. I am originally from Davison, Michigan, near Flint, Michigan, but I am currently in Ramona, California, and that's where I live now.
Hello, I'm River Alexandra Song, and I'm from Hollywood, California.
I'm John Dyer 5, or John Dyer the 5th, originally from Atlanta. I live in Covina, California, about 20 miles east of LA.
Well, welcome. Please tell me how the panel went.
What do you think, everyone?
I thought it went
Not
very
bad.
well. All right, let's talk
It
over
was
each other.
good.
Yes, why not?
You
We
know,
didn't do
was a fun
anything
panel.
too embarrassing anyway.
I think what everyone shows with their enthusiasm here is that everybody has opinions, and that's what one of the wonderful things about Comic-Con is when we get together in person each year at this wonderful convention, we always have debates, you know, whether it's Batman or Star Trek or James Bond or whatever we love. In our case, Doctor Who, it's who's the best whoever filled that role. And as you find with fandom, you know, a lot of what you love, you eventually come to hate. And so I think it makes for a very lively, opinionated panel. I mean, these folks here, they all just can't stand Jodie Whittaker. It was really enlightening.
Not exactly. Now that's a little
That's
extreme.
not
I've got the tape. I can play it back, you know.
We don't have Chetnell's version of the Doctor.
The writers.
We like Jodie Whittaker. We're just not fond of her version of the Doctor.
Fair enough.
Yes.
I think it's the writers we don't like.
The writers, definitely no.
What was it like to meet them in person? I'm sure you've all met them, or have you?
Absolutely.
I've
Of course.
I've met all the living doctors, and to quote Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart, splendid chaps, all of them. And what I think, it's a role unlike any other because it is so about connecting with the fans, and it's such a huge part of the fan community that you know, we've all of us living around sort of California, we've all met Hollywood actors, you know, who sometimes, in very rare cases, can be complete jerks. But I have to say, something that unites all the Doctor Who's is they're all great. They understand the responsibility that goes with the role. It's not a cloak that you take off because you're always the Doctor, even after you lose the part. And it has such a magic when children meet you, when adults meet you. And so all of them have worn the responsibility, the mantle that comes with the Time Lord title really, really well. What are some of the doctors that you've enjoyed meeting most, the rest of the panel?
Well, I've met Peter Davison, who was just darling because I teased him because he's done some of the audio dramas with River Song. And I said, you can sign my diary, but you can't sign your name. And he looked very, very confused. And I said, well, you could sign Andrew like you did in the audio version. And he said, and he still looked confused. I said, well, Colin Baker signed Old 60. He said, I'm signing it the 5-ish. And he did. And then an hour later, we were getting a photo taken and I got the nicest hug.
I liked when I met Colin Baker because we discovered that we share a birthday. And we ended up sitting down and discussing that for a while. every doctor I've met has been so incredibly kind and so generous with their time to the fans and especially to kids. And it's great to see that, because like Sandro said, so many actors can be such jerks. And these guys really take the responsibility of maintaining the magic even after they've left the role.
I have to agree with that. And every doctor I've met in person has been incredibly lovely and fascinating. But you can't put a price on the memory I have of, we're in the photo shoot with the war doctor, John Hurt himself, and I drop all this file of pictures and things, and I'm on the floor scrambling, and I realize he's right there, and I look up, and I just catch him looking away, like I'm not watching. It's just like this weird invisible moment that I cherish.
I've got to meet all of them except Jodie Whittaker and David Tennant, but I'm keeping up my hope because I want to meet them so I have a full, like Sandro has, full count. And every single one of them has been wonderful.
Oh, I've never
like
personally met any of them, so I've never met any of the doctors personally. I've come close, but I think the only one that I've actually came in close and waved at was Eccleston. I'm not as lucky.
I know throughout the years at the convention center, or even at I think it was at the Hilton or the Hyatt that they usually stay at, that if you go over there, you might see them in the lounge area. They've always been quite gracious and friendly to say hi to fans, which is kind of cool. But what I want to hear now is I want to hear a little bit of the debate. Which one is the best doctor and why?
Well, number one, obviously, because he started it all.
Mine was John Pertwee because he was the first doctor I saw, and because of him, I got hooked on the series.
Mine was Tom Baker, because it doesn't matter how many years out we are from his reign. When you hear his voice, you go, "Oh, it's the doctor."
Mine is Matt Smith, just because his energy encompasses everything that the doctor has ever been and everything that he can be.
Peter Capaldi all the way.
We never forget our first love, and my first doctor was Peter Davison, the Fifth Doctor. I never thought anyone would come along to be to eclipse him in the role, but then David Tennant did, Doctor number 10, and I thought he brought a real romantic quality to the part, because after all, something that marks out Doctor Who as a character is that he has two hearts. So therefore, I thought he would love twice as much, and he really tapped into the emotion of the role. And it turns out I'm not alone, because the result of Who's the Best Doctor Who, which, by the way, was a very comprehensive survey. We started it 1 year ago in our panel at Comic-Con San Diego. We continued it at SD WhoCon a few months later. And then I host the podcast Who's the Best, and all our listeners to that contributed. And yes, in the end, they said the guy behind me, number 10, David Tennant, he's the best. Now, I promise you I didn't fix it, even though I did count. I just think the majority of Doctor Who fans, unlike these guys, have got great taste.
Shame on you.
Thank you. Majority. Thank you.
Well, Tennant's in my top 5.
Yeah, mine too.
13, you're very generous. Yes.
Well, that's just the thing. You've got so much canon, so many episodes, so many spin-offs. You can debate it endlessly.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely. And I have to say, I cried when David Tennant was like, "I don't want to go." I didn't want him to go either, but then here comes Matt Smith with his fish fingers and custard, and I fell in love with him.
No, I was going to say, Matt Smith, that little old man in that very young body.
So who had the best costume?
I think you have to give props to all of them, not trying to say they all had great costumes, but they all had, even number 1, as a cosplayer, you're like, the layers and the levels and the variants on the same costume, it's pretty mind-blowing. You don't really see that sort of flash on American TV for something like that,
I do have to say that I don't like Jodie's costume.
Yeah,
It's not my favorite. I don't think it really takes the role and her seriously enough. As the first female doctor, I think she needs to have a little more gravitas.
I agree.
I liked Peter's later costumes, Peter Capaldi's later costumes, because when he got into the rocker mode and he just, it was livable, breathable, and you believed that he traveled through time.
Mm-hmm.
I like Paul McGann's green velvet outfit in the movie. It was very dashing on him. But my least favorite was Jodie Whittaker's, because I hate those short pants. Can't she get long pants?
What?
I do think more people should wear celery stalks on their lapels, honestly.
Or cats.
Sonic screwdriver.
Sonic.
Is it the same, or does it morph into looking different for
They
different?
all are
Diff-
different.
Different case,
Every
same
doctor has their
hardware.
own.
Different case, but same software, and it keeps updating as it goes.
Same
Every
plot
day.
device.
I like the sunglasses. Okay.
Yeah, I love the sunglasses.
You know how there's always a new iPhone every year? It seems like there's a new sonic screwdriver every year as well. It's always sort of updated and more technical with more features. And, it's certainly got the Doctor out of a number of scrapes over the decades, that's for sure.
Although I think Sarah Jane's Sonic lipstick was pretty cool.
That's
Right.
true.
Yeah.
Yes.
And River's sonic trowel.
Oh, yes. Well, of course.
That's just fun to say.
Well, on that note, I can't wait to watch your panel. This is Chris Morrow, Comic-Con at Home, remotely connected from the Tin Fish. Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun.
And Chris, we're all fans of Comic-Con and you, and thanks for all the great work you've done championing Comic-Con and making us all feel more together while apart.
Oh, well,
Hope to see you
Thank you
next year.
much.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great Comic-Con at home.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have a great
Bye.
day.
Stay safe. Bye.